Hey guys, hope everyone's having a good day. Hope everyone had a good Christmas and a happy New Year. Today we're going to be doing a very, very, very special thrower today for our analysis, and his name is Parry O'Brien. Now, for the youngsters who don't know who Parry O'Brien is, he is the inventor of the glide shot put. All right, so that right there already goated because it's still that method is still used today, and he developed it in the 1950s, and it's insane that still that technique has still stood the test of time. And other than that, as well, he is also a two-time Olympic gold medalist, a two-time Pan American Games gold medalist, and a one-time silver medalist at the Olympics. He is also one of only three people. I forget if Randy Matson did it, but he's in good company with Thomas Jajeski and Ryan Krauser as some of the only people in men's shot put to ever go back to back in the Olympics. So he won in 1952, and then he followed that up by winning in 1956. So that right there, already historic. Not to mention, he broke the world record 17 times and was the first man to throw the 16-pound shot over 60 feet. So that right there, milestone after milestone after milestone. I mean, he's a true innovator. One of the most, arguably the most important figure to shot put history. And also his PR shot put 19 meters 69 centimeters, and discus 59.99 meters. So let's just call that 60 meters, which are still really good marks today. Which is insane that he was throwing these in the 1960s. So that right there already insane. The fact that those marks still are still really good today. Not a lot of people can do that today. He was 6'2" and 245 pounds. He's from the USA. Was the flag bearer in the 1964 Olympic Games, which is insane. And yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna cover every single accomplishment he's done because he has so many. We'd be here for hours. It could just be a 20-minute video of him just of his accomplishments. So we'll get into this, but so the reason I think he's underrated, one, I mean, he's just old, and a lot of new people don't really know him, especially new people to the sport. And I think he's arguably, in my opinion, top two most important figures to throwing. I mean, just inventing the glide in general, but he has he has the hardware and the records and the distances that still stand the test of time today. And yeah, and the only reason he doesn't have world championships is because world championships weren't even a thing back then. So that's why I'm sure he would have definitely won some. If you can win 2 Olympics, you can probably win at least 1 Worlds. I feel like that's safe to assume, but they just didn't have world championships back then. So, but today we're going to be doing a analysis of him throwing 1927 and 1959. All right, so we'll just play this a couple times. Now, it's important to realize this is in the 1950s, 1960s. He's literally the inventor of this technique. So some things, like obviously, technique has progressed a little. So am I going to be really super critical of him? No, I feel like that'd be super unfair because, I mean, we nowadays, have the, knowledge of like 50 to 60 years by this point, honestly. So, yeah. So, but luckily, there's no really need to be super critical because he actually has a fantastic technique. And considering him how small he was, to throw 19 meters and then, honestly, well, I shouldn't say the discus is more impressive, but no, it's not really. But the fact that he also threw like 60 meters in discus is actually pretty good as well. And I'll link all his accomplishments, height, weight, and personal best, in the video description as always. But let's get into this. So, let me back up. Of course, they don't show his whole thing. So even back then, they couldn't film throwers correctly. But whatever. By far, probably one of the worst angles. But and it also excused the video quality. Again, this was in 1959. The fact that they even have cameras is insane. But so I do apologize. This is probably the best quality video I could find. There aren't that many videos of him anyway, because it was the 1950s and 1960s. So we're very lucky that we actually even have footage. So I do apologize. But let's get into this. So I know you can't see basically all his lower body, but we'll get into this. So already really relaxed. So he goes down. So you see a lot of gliders nowadays, or like later on through the years, they go down a lot lower, which I personally like. But you have to have the strength and explosiveness and athletic ability to actually get out of that out the back. So starting this high isn't like, that's fine. Like, I mean, again, this is 19 meters, so it's not like it's terrible. It's not like he's throwing like 40 feet. But I mean, yeah, like this is perfectly fine. People throw far like this. I just like, if I was like coaching like a world-class glider, I would like them just a little bit. But again, I'm not judging really like that much, because he's the inventor of this technique. So I would hope that glide technique has evolved since the inception of it. So just like rotational technique. So, but he gets every single thing you want out of the back. So he goes down, he goes onto his toe. Some people like flat foot, some people like the toe. I personally like to get on the toe. And you notice as he gets onto the toe, he's still really balanced. So he's not on his tippy toe. So he's on the ball of the foot. He's using his left arm as a counterbalance, and then his left leg as a counterbalance. And you notice, oh, that's the wrong way. Oh, wait, that's the wrong way. Okay. Okay, there. So as he goes onto his, okay, well maybe actually it doesn't show it. It shows it for like a second. You get the picture. So like as he gets on, so as he rises, this rises a little, and then as he goes back down, the left knee goes back in. So this creates a stretch shortening cycle, which is really nice because that's going to bring momentum into the throw and create a really nice stretch reflex. So it's going to make the throw easier, it establishes rhythm, and it makes it just throw way further than just starting low and then trying to push with no movement. It's the equivalent of like doing like a static throw and rotational shot compared to like winding. Winding is obviously a lot easier than doing a static throw. So, but everything is controlled, everything is intentional, so he's not just flailing around like a maniac. It's like very subtle, but it gets the job done. So brings the knee in, keeps the left arm out. Some people do that. Some people bring the left arm in as the left knee goes in, and then the left arm goes out. Whichever one, that's more of like a preference thing, honestly. But as he brings his left knee in, he starts to go flat-footed. So as he goes flat-footed, he tries to keep flat-footed as long as possible, and then pushes off his heel. All right, so you don't want to push off the toe because you're just going to jump up. You want to stay low as possible. That's why it's called a glide, not just jumping back. It's called a glide because you want to just glide across the ring, and you want to stay as close to the ground as possible. And that's the same thing in every single throwing event, but in the glide, you don't want to see people jump up. All right, and that's why pushing off the heel is a really, really good idea. But another good cue that I see a lot of gliders miss is that, and he does extremely well, is he tries to stay flat-footed as long as possible. So what this is going to do is it's going to make you drive off your heel. All right, so he's here, and flat foot, drive off the heel. Now, obviously, you're going to rise a little because, you know, you're extending the knee to get all that. So, but what I mean by not just like jumping up or not landing standing up is that he still lands and he's still, oh my God, can this program stop? Thank you. All right. He's still over the right. Now, I would classify this as like a little open. I would personally like him to land with his shoulders a little far back. Again, I'm not being super critical. Again, the shot puts behind his hip or like just barely in line. So, I mean, that's perfectly fine. It's not like he's crazy open. It's just I think he could have just done a little better. Of course, this isn't his PR throw, and it's 1959. I mean, like this right. Oh my God, would this program please stop? Like this right here is like a perfectly fine position. It just, you know, you can always improve, but that's just my opinion. But yeah, again, I'm not being critical, like hypercritical at all. I mean, major respect for him, you know, and that's why I'm making this video. So, of course, we can't see his feet because this stupid time thing is in the way. Let me fast forward. Nope, the time thing's still there. Okay. So, I've seen other videos. So, I've seen videos of different angles. I just didn't choose those ones because they were very, very low quality and you could barely see them. So, I'm going to try and explain, while you can't see his feet, I'll explain what he's doing from the other videos. All right. So, oh, wait, sorry. I totally forgot. I totally missed this entire middle part. Oops, that's my bad. Very important. So he gets here. Me personally, I don't like that he kind of tilts this left shoulder. I would like him to like. I use a cue as you go back, you kind of reach a little more back. So like as you drive to the front of the ring, the left arm kind of reaches a little further back, and I think that helps you keep your shoulders a lot more square to the back of the ring and creates a lot more separation. But that's a very hard thing to do, and you know that cue might not work for you. You can give it a try if you're a glider, or you could just try not to move your shoulder. That's another option as well. But in the glide, you don't really want to land super far like this, that much. So I'd like them to just be a little further back. This is still great, but you know, like I said, it could be a little better. And then what he does is he kicks here. So he goes here, drives, and then me personally, I would like him to go to with his left leg. I love it to drive into the toe board and go a lot more down. I think he has just a little too much air time. Again, not being hypercritical, it's just what I'm seeing. You see a lot of really like far gliders, and they don't really have this up, because when you kick up and you let this foot get really too far up, it's very common to see, especially with less experienced throwers, for them to break at the hip and not land separate and to just be super slow at the front. So you want your feet to land as fast as possible and pretty much at the same time, which is a little different than rotational shot. A lot of good gliders try and feel like their right and left foot land at the front at the same time. So he does a really good job of that. I know you can't see it, obviously, because of this stupid thing, but yeah, that's what I would like. So I'd like him, so as he gets here, if he kicked a little bit more down or drove his left heel into the toe board, a little more, I think he would have just stayed a little lower. And also, I think that the reason why he lands a little bit open is because of the fact that his left foot is super high. So he loses a lot of tension with that left side. So it makes him open just a little bit. So that's another reason why you want the left leg low. But, you know, still recovers. And I think because of this, because his left foot is a little high, he gets into the throw just a little bit too early. So he kind of shifts just a little bit too early onto his left foot. So he doesn't really work the ground quite as long as he could. He doesn't get his hips quite under him into the throw. So I think he could have got a little more out. As you can see, like, his hips are just like a little bit behind him as he releases. Again, not like the worst thing in the world. He has a fantastic block, though. I will say that. And I love that he keeps watching the shot put, a cue that is still used today. So I'm not crediting him with that. I'm just saying that that's a good thing. I mean, shoot, he might have actually. I don't know if he invented that cue. I doubt it, but whatever. I wouldn't put it past him because he just invents a lot of stuff, I guess. But, okay, let's get to the front. So this is the part you really can't see, with the feet at least. But from watching videos from different angles, I can say that he does turn his right foot very well. He does work the ground. Now, they weren't exactly this throw, but, you know, you get the picture. People at this level, they generally look pretty much the same almost every throw. So it's safe to assume that he does it in this throw. So bent knees, really nice. Then as he goes, keeps going. The hip, really nice. I would like his hips to be a little bit more in front and just like a little bit more into the throw. They're just like, they're not like super far behind. It's not like he's like bent over doing like a good morning and throwing with his elbow, but it could just be a little better, in my opinion. I think he doesn't get like as out as he could and just throws a lot more up, which I personally don't like. But again, this is the 1959. Like, I'm not being super critical. This still went 19 meters, so that says a lot. You know, that's still a very, very far throw. All right, so yeah, all love and respect. These are just my like technical criticisms. All right, so criticism is a harsh word, like technical analysis. All right, so gets really nice here. Keeps watching the shot put with his eyes. I know you can't really see, but I love that he turns his right foot and then pushes over his block. Really, really nice. And then he gets here, looks back, bends the knee, and of course it transitions, so you can't see him recover. But really nice glide finish and reverse. So he gets here, linear energy, creates a linear block. So he slams into the toe board and sticks it, so he's not spinning around. All right, like you would in like rotational shot, although some rotational shot players do like a glide reverse, which is fine. But this is, you don't want a glide reverse where you're like spinning around. If you do that just naturally, that probably means you need to transition to the rotational shot. All right, excuse me. So yeah, but other than that, a super, super nice glide. And honestly, like this technique, like honestly, like if I had a glider throw like this, I wouldn't even be that mad, to be completely honest. There's like minor criticisms and some things that, like, you know, nowadays that we know a little better. You know, obviously because this was way past, even I think before my parents were born. So, you know, obviously before my time. So we clearly know stuff nowadays, a lot more stuff. But he does, all the love and respect for him. He's a very fascinating person, and one of the most decorated shot putters ever, both man and woman. And yeah, I mean, he is insane, insanely decorated, insanely important to the sport, and the fact that he threw 19 meters in 1966 is honestly astonishing. Well, I mean, he threw 19 meters in 1959 apparently as well. But I mean, I didn't even go over like half his accomplishments. I'm probably not going to list all of his accomplishments in the video description just because I don't think we'll run out of room. But I'll just cover like the most important ones that I think are relevant. And yeah, I mean, thanks for watching. Hope you guys learned something. Hope you guys gained a new appreciation for Parry Bryan. And I might be doing a video on Randy Matson, who's another one. He's the first person to ever throw over 70 for the first time. But I might do a video on him. I'm still debating on that. But yeah, other than that, hope everyone was going to have a really good new year. And let's get pumped up. Track season's right around the corner. All right, let's get started. All right. Thanks for watching and have a good day.